Hello, friends, and welcome to Coffee with the Coaches. Happy New Year. Happy 2021. Hi, Kim.
Morning.
I'm Holly. I'm your RN health coach for Lenovo here in North Carolina. And Kim is also your RN health coach for Lenovo, but in Chicago, serving the California location as well. How's everybody doing? Happy New Year. It's 2021.
We made it. We did
We
it.
made it. Although I just have to tell you, I saw the funniest thing that I'm going to share with you um, on Facebook this morning. So it says, it's one of these little things. It says, I'd like to cancel my subscription to 2021. I've experienced the free 7-day trial and I'm not interested,
That's really
which I think is hysterical. I mean, come on, right?
that's funny.
I know. It hasn't exactly been the best starting point for a new year. However, I feel like things are maybe looking up a little bit, right?
I agree with that.
Kim's gonna be a mommy soon,
Any day now.
right? Any day now, yeah. So this will be Kim's likely, very, very likely, if she's still pregnant in 2 weeks, we're gonna have a chat with her doctor. This is going to be Kim's last episode with us until she comes back from maternity leave, and I will be very, very sad without her. But I am going to have special guests on from all of the episodes that we have coming up until she gets back from maternity leave. So that's going to be exciting. So stay tuned for that, everybody. And again, like always, with our episodes, please feel free to throw questions and comments in the chat. We really do want this to be as interactive as possible. So, that being said, I'm going to throw it over to Kim. And we're going to talk this episode about, we're going to start kind of talk about what's coming up with programming through the Wellness Center. And then we're going to talk about goals and goal setting and motivation and habits and New Year's resolutions and all those fun things. So, Kim, I'm going to hand things over to you. And I have shared my screen with all of you. So, and I've added this, Kim has added this as a handout. So there's lots of handouts. So please go ahead, download those handouts before we end the session today so that you have them with you.
Yeah, so we just kind of wanted to preview for you guys what's coming up the rest of the month of January. So we are launching a new program that is called Jumpstart Your Wellness Challenge. So this is for anybody who's looking to make positive change and wants a little extra support. We obviously all lived 2020 together. We know what it was. We're looking to put it behind us and looking to make changes going forwards. So the goal of the challenge is to provide support to help you reach whatever goal you want to reach. That can be financial, that can be educational, that could be health related, it could be non-health related. We welcome all goals here. We are non-discriminatory. So that email will be going out early next week with all these details again. The thing to it is there's 3 health coaching visits. So if you're already enrolled in health coaching, we can just kind of shift your existing visits to fit the requirements for this, which is fine. So you would meet with Holly or Sharon or my replacement, whose name will be Luana, to do these meetings to kind of discuss, like, set your goal, discuss your plan, and then review your progress, and then final review and next steps. And then after that, you can continue if you want to, you can stop, you can change your goal, like we can help you kind of work through all those things. So the registration will be a little bit different. It doesn't go through the portal. It's going to go through this group email that we just had established. So we know that's some feedback we've gotten from people that email is easier than making a phone call. So we decided to have this done so that would be easier for everybody to do as far as that goes. And then along with the challenge, there's going to be a goal setting and motivation webinar that Holly is going to do. So she'll go over, like, finding your motivation, what motivates us, how to harness that, and then how to use that to execute the goals we're looking for. So you don't have to be a part of the challenge. That's just a webinar we're going to offer no matter what. So if you want to join, great. If your spouses want to join, all the services we're doing are also available to spouses as well. And that'll be the 26th from 2 to 2:30 Eastern time.
Ish.
Ish. Light on the ish, because we like to answer, we would like to have, if there's questions or comments, like we're not just gonna like shut it off at 2:30. That being said, if you want to set goals for the new year and you're not exactly sure where to start, or you know that your doctor said like, oh, you need to lower your cholesterol, and you quite frankly forgot what your cholesterol is, or you don't have a recent BMI, or anything like that, we're also, for the first time ever, offering at-home biometric screening kits. So this is exciting. We've already had over 200 people request kits, which is great. These are available to benefits eligible employees as well as their spouses. So this kit comes to your house, comes in a little envelope. We walk you through it. It's just a finger poke like you would if you were a diabetic to check your blood sugar. And it tells you your total cholesterol, good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, fasting blood glucose, and your triglycerides. It does not tell you your A1C, so if you're diabetic, this will not cover that for you. We tried, but it wasn't an option. And then we'll be around to help you with that. So if like you're uncomfortable with any of that process, or you're nervous about poking your own finger, or maybe you've never done anything medical at home before and you want support, Alice and Holly and Sharon and the rest of the team are around to help with that.
I heard like a distant audible when you said poke your own finger. Everybody just went, what? Sorry? What?
Yeah. Yeah, we've unfortunately gone a whole year without doing screenings on site. So yeah, we were lucky enough to find this option so you guys can do it at home. That being said, you can also have this done through your PCP. I know some people always do that, so you can always forward your results to us, and we can get those into your records, so you can track them year over year and see where you're at. Again, you don't have to join the challenge to participate. This is something that's independent of that. We just kind of are offering everything in the beginning of the year to give you guys as many chances as you can for success. Yeah. Trying to give you the tools you can to get everything started.
You have to know your numbers in order to be successful, and it's a great opportunity to kind of figure out what your goals are going to be for the year. The biometric screenings are free. I don't remember. I don't know if you said that.
Yeah, I don't think I said that. That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Yep, they're free. They don't go through insurance. Lenovo is paying for it. So I think it would be smart to, if you're going to get it, you have to call the number on the bottom. So you have to call the main number for the Lenovo Wellness Center, and we'll order that for you. And then once you get it, and when you decide to do it, set up an appointment with us to help you kind of through the process. It really is fairly user friendly, but especially if you're nervous about poking your own finger, we can help guide you through that. I think that's really the most important thing, because you want it to work. You don't want to go through all of that and then it not work. So yeah, so just call us, let us know, let us help you through the process. We'll go through your numbers with you. And then, if in the meantime you want to join the Jumpstart Challenge, that's going to be really great. And I know Kim has explained all about it, but it's really about you setting your own goal. We didn't want the challenge to come across as a weight loss goal, because not everybody wants to lose weight. So, it could be stress related. It could be activity related. It could be, mindfulness related. It could be anything. So it's really all about you and what you want to accomplish this year. So all of that being said, Kim, have you set any New Year's resolutions?
So really funny you bring that up, because I was actually going to tell you about that when we launched the poll. Before we get to that, I just want to mention somebody did type in, if you live in New York, I forgot to mention this. The only exception is if you live in New York, you can't do this kit. Something with New York state laws and blood specimens crossing lines, and I don't know, above my pay grade. So we'll reach out if you are a New York employee. We can call you, message, whatever. We'll figure out how to get you into your PCP or into a lab or some other way to get those results done, since you can't do the call in, send home option.
Yeah, thanks for remembering that.
I didn't. Somebody put it in the questions.
Yeah. Awesome.
So along with Holly's question, do you make New Year's resolutions? I, quite frankly and honestly, do not, because I am one of the people that is like, I'm going to start on a Tuesday at 6 in the morning. because I, quite frankly, am very anti start on the first Monday or the first of the year or, next month or next whatever. I'm just much more like, now. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it now.
Yeah, I think you're in the minority,
Yeah.
right? Because even like I know with my husband's like, oh yeah, come Monday, I'm starting over, fresh slate. And I'm like, what's so special about Monday? Like, why can't you just start today? Like, what's wrong with today? It's so fun. It is. It's so, I totally get that though. I totally get that. But I think that we are in the minority there because of what we do, right? Now, I have to say, I don't personally set like resolutions in terms of, one particular thing, just, because I'm always kind of thinking about things that I want to accomplish. But I do really respect people who sit down and make a plan for the year, sort of thing. Um, oh, there's the result.
Yeah, so it looks like 18% of people, so like almost 20%. So a fifth of you do.
But the majority don't.
Yep. And then other, maybe a mix of the both or something in
Yeah.
between or
I'd be really curious to know, like, and if you guys feel like sharing in the chat, why you don't. Like, what are the reasons not to make resolutions? Um, there's a lot of interesting research about resolutions, actually. And some of the research says that it's good for us to do that just from a mental health perspective because it's a fresh start and everybody loves to start anew and that sort of thing. I think that's why, like after the winter and spring cleaning and oh yeah, it's the weather's better, I'm going to start doing it. It's the same idea, right? We do feel better about starting fresh or starting off on the right foot. But from a long-term perspective, not the majority of people don't hold on to that habit change for a long time. So you might start establishing habits, but then they sort of fall off. And by the time the new year comes around again, a lot of people are starting those resolutions over. So that being said, I do want to tell you, I did start thinking about, what do I kind of want to get out of this year? Something different because it's just been so stagnant and we're in the bubbles and whatever. Like, I think I'm going to get on Babbel. Have you heard of Babbel?
no,
The
tell me all about it.
the language. It's a language
I
app.
did Duolingo for a while, but that's the only one I'm
Yeah,
trying.
yeah. So my plan at some point in this year when I'm ready is I'm going to get back into French because I love French. I grew up learning French. And, obviously it goes away as you get older. And yeah, I'm going to start relearning French.
I like it.
I don't know that I'll be able to speak fluently, but I'm going to get back into it.
It's all that matters. If you enjoy it, it doesn't make a difference how good you are at it. If you
Right.
are having time and it's good for, I mean, like, I know like developing a different language is like different parts of your brain. So it's good to activate all different parts of your brain and keep yourself young through learning new things.
Yeah,
Only
absolutely. And it's like
perpetually.
10 minutes a day or something. I'm like, I've got 10 minutes a day. I can totally do that.
Do
Right?
that on the treadmill, do that while you're in the shower. Like
Right?
10 minutes is a drop in the bucket.
Right, it's nothing. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about goals and goal setting and habits and that sort of thing. So I do want to share with you, I'm going to share my screen again. Bear with me while I do this.
We did get some feedback.
Oh,
Somebody wrote
cool.
in, I do intentions and goals and adjust as things change throughout the year. And I think that's a really good approach.
I think that's awesome.
Sounds like you're always in um, that state where you're looking for things to get better, and adjust your sails as needed, or your wings, or whatever word you want to
I love
use.
that. I think part of that is being mindful. Do you know what I
100%.
mean? Like people who do that are able to, are better capable maybe of being in tune with where they are in any stage of change. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you really have to be paying attention and you have to have those, what you're trying to focus on really sort of has to be front of mind in order to really um, know when you need a tweak, right?
make the adjustment,
Yeah, yeah,
pivot, if you will.
yeah, absolutely. Are there any other comments there, Kim, before I go ahead and start on this one?
Somebody said that their Rosetta Stone French version is collecting dust.
Oh, I had looked at Rosetta Stone a while back and I was just like, because I think they were CDs. And I'm sure it's an app now, but at one point they were CDs, and I'm like, I'm not gonna put a CD in and listen to it or whatever. Yeah, that's funny. It's like a treadmill, right? Sometimes you get them, sometimes they just collect dust.
Sometimes they're a clothes drying rack. I mean, it's whatever.
Right. So what I'm showing you guys here, and Kim, feel free to jump in with anybody else's comments. I love them. What I'm showing you guys here is part of the presentation that I'm going to be doing in a couple of weeks um, on goal setting, motivation, habits change, that sort of thing. Because, when we go set a goal or when we decide that we want to make a change, most of us are typically going to just jump into a change without really giving it a whole lot of forethought and thinking about outcomes or thinking about anything else. So when you're looking at this particular chart that I have on the screen here, where you see number 3, that's typically where everybody starts, right? So most changes are initiated by information. Whatever that information is, good or bad, it really influences us on our behaviors. But what tends to happen when we're going to make a change and when we're like, yes, I'm gung ho, now I'm ready, let's do this, is we go from information straight to behavior. And the problem is we don't allow our thoughts to help us figure out why we're doing the behavior, the actions that need to take place for that behavior to become a habit. And so I will get into a lot more of the detail about this sort of circle once I do the presentation. So I'm not tooting my own horn, but it's a really good presentation. Um, because you really have to think about the reasons why you want to change, right? So the information, for better or for worse, and this goes for not just weight loss or activity and things like that, for anything in your life, whatever information that's coming in or that you're seeking, one, you have to make sure it's the right information for the behavior change that you want to make for yourself, right? So, um, maybe it is nutrition. For a lot of people, it's eating better, it's dry January, it's, whatever. So making sure that the information that you're being fed or the information that you're seeking is the correct information. So that's really key. So then when we get to thoughts, this is where I'm going to switch over to a handout that I've attached as well, another handout. I'm going to bring it up here.
Are you saying that I need to do some self-reflection before I set actual goals?
Can you believe that?
Who would have thought that I could, excuse me,
Totally.
I could jump on the internet and be like, I'm going to lose 20 pounds this year. Like,
yeah, 100%.
So blanket goals are probably not a good idea. They're not the best idea, at least.
No, they have to be specific, right? So those of you who have worked with Kim and I ever, currently, in the past, or whatever, we talk a lot about the process of setting goals. And this is really where your thoughts really come into play when you're setting a goal. And I love this, and I've attached this handout to the webinars so that you guys can download it. So anytime that you're thinking about making a change, you want to put it out there. One, you want to write it down. You want to tell a health coach. You want to tell your partner, your spouse, whatever. Put it out there. Tell your friends. If you feel the need to put it on social media like a lot of people do, go ahead. Not my thing. But getting it out there makes it real, right? So that's the first thing. Your main goal is what? And that is definitely where you want to be very specific about your goal, right? So like Kim was just saying, you don't necessarily want, it to be a blanket goal. It's like, I want to lose weight. Well, that's fine. You want to lose weight, but what are the specifics about that? Right? And so you want to start sort of thinking about short-term and long-term goals. So maybe you have a longer-term goal of losing 50 pounds. 50 pounds is a lot, and it takes a long time to get there if you want that behavior change to last a long time. So you want to sort of think, yes, long term, I want to lose 50 pounds. In the short term, I'd like to lose 50 pounds in, 5-pound increments over, 6 weeks. So that's the first step. You want to think about, here's again where these thoughts come into play. You really want to think about, how am I going to know if I've reached my goal? What does that look like for you? Right? So if you could put yourself in your future shoes, what does it look like? What does it feel like? right? How will you feel, right, about achieving your goal, which you see over here in the sidebar? What's good about achieving my goal, right? You always want to stay in the positive when you're considering your goals. Thinking about how good you're going to feel, thinking about maybe more energy that you're going to have. Maybe it's about productivity, you're going to be more productive, but you really want to think about, what are the benefits? What are the strengths? What are the positive things that are going to come out of reaching your goal?
And this is something I know Holly's going over at a high level, but this can be, and this is individualized for each person. So if you
Oh,
feel like this is daunting to you, or you look at this and you're like, I have no idea where to start on this. Like, I know I want to get healthier, but I can't really narrow it down, and I don't have any idea what obstacles would be. That's what that's what we specialize in. Like, we specialize in asking those questions, figuring out that information, helping you identify your strengths. Like, that's what we're here for. That's like our bread and butter. So if you need help with any of this, like, we have this, it's attached to the presentation. Download it, scribble on it, figure it out, and we can always get on a call with you to help you work through it.
100%. Yeah, no, that's good. No, that's really important because you're not on your own. So, and that's what Kim and I are trained in to do, is to help you work through this. Um, so where were they? Down here. Okay. So thinking about, you know, the action steps that you need to take, right? So instead of jumping right into the behavior, specifically thinking about what are the simple small things that you're going to do to achieve your long-term goal, right? Even your short-term goals. So those are SMART. And I know most of you have heard of what a SMART goal is: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So you want to think about that goal and say, maybe it's over the next 7 days, I am going to eat 2 pieces of fruit 5 days a week on these days. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but really those small goals become habits. Those habits become long-term successes. And those are the things that will help you achieve your long-term goals. That being said, it's really important to think about, what are your obstacles going to be, right? Because if you don't have a backup plan, a plan for getting over that obstacle, then we're setting ourselves up to fail. And this is where a lot of people go wrong. So maybe it's the fruit. Okay, what obstacles could arise? I didn't do any meal planning and I didn't go to the grocery store. Now what are you going to do? Right? So it's just thinking beyond, this is my goal, and thinking, okay, I have a plan that's going to get me over a hump, right? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Frozen berries in the
I can
freezer.
hear you. I can. See, that's why I love Kim, right? That's why we work so well together. Yes, that's genius, right? So having frozen berries in there, right? They're awesome. They're just as good as fresh, taste a little bit different, not as easy to chew as a piece of fruit from the fruit bowl, but it's great.
Also, be really careful, because if you over microwave them, they will make a massive mess. I literally did that 2 days ago, and I came out with berry jam that I had not planned for. So
that's really funny. I feel kind of wishy-washy about this, and you'll find if you're looking up goal setting and that sort of thing. So a goal target date. Some people work well with a date and others don't. So I'm not a hard and fast coach that says you need a target date. I like weekly goals, but for your I'm not. I am personally not a fan of setting a very specific date because life happens. Life gets in the way. Events happen. 2020 happened. Like, it's just, there's a lot. You don't know where your stress level is going to be. You don't know what events are going to take place. So I'm not a huge fan of that, because what tends to happen is if you don't reach your target date, if you don't reach your goal by your target date, we feel bad about ourselves. We're like, well, that came and went, right? So I'm just not a huge fan of that. But if target dates work for you and you feel like you work harder to get there, then by all means put down a target date. So I had mentioned using your personal strengths, like thinking about the positive. When you're thinking about a goal and you're thinking about, successes that you may have had in the past, that's really important, because when you're successful, you've used your personal strengths to be successful. And so you want to leverage those strengths to be successful again, in whether it's a new goal or an old goal that you just didn't quite achieve or you kind of fell back on. So this is really great. So this is actually a link, this VIA Strengths Finder right here. It's a link to your personal strengths finder. It's a 15, 20-minute questionnaire that's free. It's something that was used in my training to become a certified health coach. And it's really fun because it will give you your top 5 strengths, top 3 specifically with a lot of detail, and your top 5. So, because I've asked people, Kim, I'm like, what are your strengths? And people struggle. People struggle to find, like, to understand what is your strength. And
Yeah,
then the other piece of that is, okay, well, like for me, my top strength is love. I'm like, that's a strength? I mean, it's positive. I mean, don't get me wrong, but how do you
sure.
leverage love to be successful? So there's more detail when you get that information back. So it's really interesting. I encourage all of you to do it, whether you're doing it for a goal or not. I just think it's a really fun and interesting questionnaire to do.
Not sure if it's as fun as what 90s Serial are you or like rap group are you, but
Well,
it's up
yeah,
there. It's pretty
not,
close.
right. Not as fun as that for sure. And then rewards. And I think this is really important. Ooh, rewards. Yay, fun. Right? I think this is really important. And I think that we forget to reward ourselves, and no, not with a piece of chocolate cake. By though that's delicious. That's not
Stickers?
generally
I'm a
stickers
sticker
are
kind of
good,
girl.
right? I have a client who colors in things on a calendar or a coloring thing every time that person achieves a little goal, right? So it doesn't have to be grandiose, and it doesn't have to be food. We recommend that it's actually not food. It can be, I get to read 15 minutes of my favorite book, or listen to a podcast, or go for a 15-minute walk, or listen to my favorite music on the way to, well, no one's going to work, but on the way to the grocery store or something. But even like in the short term, it's really important to pat yourself on the back in some way, shape, or form, because even the little goals, even when you're saying, okay, I am not going to, um, this week, part of my goal is to walk, 3 days a week, but just for 15 minutes because that's all I feel like I can handle. So you did it, and part of your mind is going, it's no big deal. I mean, it was just 15 minutes, 3 days a week, right? So we don't tend to be positive about the successes that we've had. So whether it's a physical reward or it's a mental reward, just like stop and think, yeah, I did that. I set that little mini goal for myself and I did it, right? It's really important to acknowledge it. And if you're working with a buddy, like, dude, tell them, like, that's amazing. And they'll be like, what, 3 days a week, 15 minutes? Just like, yeah, you did it. You said you were going to do it and you did it. It's like, whoa, throw yourself a little party. And then obviously, as you reach some, longer, more successful, bigger goals, then, your rewards can be bigger, like a new book or a new pair of sneakers for walking or, anything like that. So anyway, does anybody have any questions about this goal setting worksheet or goals or habits and that sort of thing? Because like I said, I am going to go through in the presentation in a lot more detail about this stuff. But I'm happy to answer any questions. So we'll let those questions come flying in. And I'd love to hear resolutions. If anybody has set New Year's resolutions, I'd really love to hear what they are. I think it's
I
always
was
fun.
I always love, I'm like you, I love hearing other people's resolutions because I feel like it's always something that like I would have never thought of. Like when I was doing research for this, there was an article I came across that said like atypical resolutions. Like, you know, stay away from like the normal stuff. If you're looking for something different, like here's your stuff. And one of them was to try something new each month. And I was like, well, that's a really good idea. And they said you can either like you can just use that, or you can use like try a new recipe each month, or try a different restaurant each month, or a different plant. I don't know. Like pick something like that. And
Right.
that I think it's pretty easy. Like you have 30 days or 31 days or 28 in February, I guess, if you wanted to try like one new vegetable. And that would also be an easy way to incorporate like your spouse or your kids when you go to the grocery store and be like, all right, pick something out you've never had before and
Right.
I'll figure out what to do with it, I think. Like
Yeah, I think that's great. Like you're right. Your goals or resolutions or it doesn't have to be like personal, like me, self kind of growth, that sort of thing. But all what Kim's talking about is still part of that. It's just more broad and it's different and it's interesting. And you have to be excited about your goal, right? You have to be excited about that. Like doing new recipes, like I love that. I love that. A new
Yeah.
recipe a month? That's awesome. That's a really good one.
The other one I really liked was a couple of my friends are doing it. It's called like the declutter or the minimalist challenge. So you
Ooh,
start it at the beginning of the month, and on day 1 you get rid of 1 thing. On day 2 you get rid of 2 things. On day 3 you get rid of 3 things. And like by the end of it, you've gotten rid of like 500 things or something. It's ridiculous. That being said, if like that's obviously a lot. So you can get rid of like 1 paper clip and that counts as 1. So like, I mean, a box of paper clips.
cheating.
Agreed. But like, I feel like when you get to day 30 and you're just like, what am I gonna get rid of 30 of them? But I think it's another really cool way to just be more mindful of like what's in our homes, and clutters up your brain. Like there's been studies that when you look at clutter, your brain like feels anxious because it doesn't do well with things not being neat and tidy.
Yeah, me too.
So I think that's a small way to kind of chip away at the tip of the iceberg, I guess.
Absolutely. That's a good one. I know that's a fact for me. I hate clutter. I hate clutter. Like, it drives me crazy.
Take
Yeah.
a garbage bag and be ruthless.
Right? Oh, wait till you have this kid, Kim. You're going to be like clutter mania.
I've already, people have been like, what do you need? How much? I'm like, I don't need anything. I'm so lucky enough to live in this day and age where we could stop at Target on the way home for whatever we need. I don't need to ship it in from China. I don't need to bring anything in from anywhere. Like we literally just need the car seat and me, and that's it. And the rest we'll figure it out.
That's right. All right, guys, we are going to wrap it up. We don't have any questions. So thank you so much for joining us. Have a happy new year. If you have any questions or you need help with your goals or the Jumpstart Challenge, or have questions about biometric screenings, please don't hesitate to reach out to Kim or myself or the main number for the Wellness Center. And we are here for you, and we are here to help you achieve whatever goals or whatever it is that you need for 2021. So Kim, we're going to miss you.
I'll send you a picture and then you can just hold it up and show everybody.
And then I'll share it with everybody. Oh, wait, we hear, oh, I love the top clutter. I do. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Happy New Year. We will see you in 2 weeks when I'm going to have Chris Powell from the Power Up Fitness Center as my first special guest to talk about resilience. All right, guys, take it easy.
Thank you.
Bye.